Hey there, mompreneurs. Welcome to another episode of the Good Enough Mompreneur Podcast. This is one of my solo episodes. It's so good to be here. And I actually recorded this episode previously, and I did not like the audio quality at all. What we use for editing sometimes can make the audio not so great. So I am not a perfectionist, but I felt like I really needed to re-record this episode. So if you're revisiting the previous episode, this is new audio. I may say some new things. So what we're going to talk about today is two of the essential elements of everything that we do in our business. And that is the practical, like doing the strategy, doing the goals, doing those things, and the energetic. So stay to the end. I'm going to also talk about how judgment can create this wall in our business, but stay to the end because I'm going to give you 3 tips on how you can implement some things from this conversation in your business to start to level it up today. So let's just dive in. Number 1, what are the practical things? I kind of talked about some of the things that it is, but just in case you're a little confused, like Angela, what is the practical in our business? That is the strategies, the planning, the execution. And some of those, I gave some examples, are the goals, managing the finances, marketing strategies. Those are all super important in the business. And, you got to develop your discipline and your organization and your consistency in reaching those goals and implementing those strategies. The problem is that so many people just focus or primarily focus on the practical. And I definitely see lots of issues with that, and I ran into issues with that myself in my own business. And so what are the energetic elements of your business? And this is the less tangible thing. So the definition of the energetic side is your mindset, your emotions, your intuition. And some of the examples of those are maintaining a positive mindset, practicing gratitude, and connecting with your purpose. And it's really one of the reasons that I became a confidence coach is because I really saw this gap in all of the coaches and courses that I had put money towards and participated in programs, etc. So many coaches and creators just kind of skipped over or gave me a temporary band-aid to really truly creating that lasting mindset for confidence and worthiness to truly implement what I was learning on the strategic side of things, the skill side of things, to really make the time, the effort, and the money that I had put towards learning these practical skills actually worth it. Because at the end of the day, if you can purchase the greatest course by the greatest course creator ever known, and if you don't have the confidence, if you don't have the mindset, if you don't have the faith, then the willingness to implement what you're learning, what does it matter? And honestly, I think it's one of the elements why so many courses have such a low completion rate is we just start getting in our own head and we don't really know how to overcome that challenge. So the role of energy, intention, and alignment in attracting success and abundance is so important in your business. And people like to make fun of it and, oh, that's woo-woo and whatever. But meanwhile, those who focus on those things, on the energetic side of things, they have much more ease. They have much more abundance. They have much more confidence. They have much more fulfillment, happiness. I think I already said that. But so it is so important to focus on the energetic. And I really will argue that you need to put the energetic first. And I tend to agree with those who say it's 80-20 or 90-10, like 90% your mindset and cultivating the right energy, and 10% skill set. So yeah. So I think it's so important as you're navigating being an entrepreneur to really understand. I learned from the greatest course creator how to put a course together. Why didn't it work? I did everything that they told me. Well, when you don't understand that the intention with which you create something is how it's received, that could very well be why your course didn't succeed. It wasn't created with the right intentions. It wasn't created with the right energy. You didn't have the mindset to implement the right marketing. There could be so many things. But if you're not cultivating that energetic presence in your business, you really could be wasting your time and money and doing yourself a lot of disservice. And so one of the things that can really create an energetic wall in our businesses is judgment. And this is something that came up with me recently, so I really wanted to talk about it. And judgment, why would you think judgment? Like, who cares about what you think about other people or yourself, and how does that really factor into your business? Actually, it factors into it greatly. So I was working with my coach recently, and there was a thought around somebody I know that kept coming up. And so we started talking about it, and it was clear that I was judging this person and their situation, and I really needed to just give up those thoughts. It was creating a block for me energetically. It was creating a block for me in my capacity, in my ability to freely do and be in the flow in my business. So judgment, I had no idea. It was a blind spot of mine that it can definitely create this wall in your business. And how can it do it? You can create this energetic wall in your business through judgment, because there is a principle that we are all connected. We are all one. So when we are judging someone else, we're also depriving ourselves of grace. We're depriving ourselves. We're not connected to love. We're not connected to the flow, as I was saying. When we're judging someone, that's immediate disconnection. And so where we need to be is full of love, full of grace, full of forgiveness. Now, that doesn't mean not having boundaries and standards. Absolutely, you need to have boundaries and standards, but you don't need to have this energetic leftover, which is judgment about somebody who maybe didn't do something right to you or for you, etc. So let's talk about some ways that we can overcome judgment. So some ways that you can overcome judgment is really stop judging yourself so much as well, because usually one of the things that I've found is when we judge others harshly, that is a really clear red flag that we are also highly critical of ourselves. So, used to be me, and I see it over and over again, and we just don't realize it. So, learning to give yourself self-compassion and kindness, recognize negative self-talk, celebrating your wins and your progress, no matter how small, and practicing some empathy and understanding. Like I said, that doesn't mean not having boundaries and standards, but really letting go of also needing to change or control others. Just really focusing on what we need to do. And if somebody isn't ideally acting in a way that we would like them to, we need to learn to forgive that and give them lots of love and move on. And so that's where self-love comes in too. And so the significance of self-love in personal and professional life is being connected to love, right? And we're all that one universal source energy. And when we start giving ourselves grace and we start giving ourselves self-compassion, it actually starts to raise our confidence. It starts to raise our resilience. And it also enables us to make better decisions. We're less judgmental. And so decisions become less difficult because it's not a matter of, oh, I need to take care of somebody, or I can't believe the resentment isn't there. It's just, this person isn't this, so I'm going to move on. I'm going to give them lots of love, but I am moving on in the direction that I need to go. And actually, self-love can really enhance your intuition as well, which I've found. So you're going to have more confidence, resilience, and decision-making capabilities. Your capacity is really, we don't realize how much judgment kind of weighs us down, especially energetically. If you're somebody who's not really aware of that, you might be having some aha moments right now going, okay, I might be judging some people. And so we're going to talk about ways that you can start to cultivate and do some things to start to relieve that energetic wall that might be there for you. So let's talk about cultivating self-love right now, though. So some things that you can do are affirmations and positive self-talk. And we all hear this, but affirmations need to do a couple of things. One, you have to really be grounded in believing them. You can't just say, oh, I'm going to be a billionaire. It has to be something that you really believe and that you're really connected to. And something I learned today is, well, one, we know that writing affirmations in your own handwriting is very powerful, but if you have a list of affirmations that you cultivate, I really suggest, and I'm going to leave a link to some affirmations in the show notes, but you create the ones that feel personal to you. But if you use your phone or something like that to record the affirmations, apparently it is very powerful. I'm going to try it. You try it too and let me know how it goes. But setting healthy boundaries, and just like I was talking, that you can make better decisions when you're not judging people and you have a set of standards and you go, okay, you're not fitting in with this that I've created that I needed. So, lots of love to you, but I have to go and do what I need to do within this framework. And so that can be something that's really healthy, and you're not having that resentment there. You're just saying, hey, you're not fitting into my standards, my boundaries. And so it's okay. You're not what I need right now in my life, or you're not reciprocating with where I am. So, it's really not a difficult decision. Prioritizing self-care and wellness, and I know this is so tough for moms. We're often at the very bottom of the list, not somewhere in the middle, not close to the end, but very last. And so I think there's not an entrepreneur I don't talk to who says they wish they would have learned how to take care of themselves sooner and paid attention to things that their body was saying. And myself, I've had situations where I didn't get much sleep, and I didn't prioritize sleep, and I didn't prioritize what I ate or the people around me. So it is really important to make sure you're taking care of yourself. And that's one of the highest forms of self-love. So embracing grace and connection and understanding that we're all connected is so important in fostering a positive relationships, not judging others. It denies us of grace and mutual support. Like when we need support, if we're constantly judging others, we're cutting off that support for ourselves because, like I said, the principle of one, we're all connected. And so I really want to encourage you to extend grace to yourself and others who are on their own path. And we don't need to change and control them. They're just doing their thing, and that's okay. And so we have talked about the practical elements in business. We've talked about the energetic elements, and we've talked about how judgment can create that energetic wall that keeps opportunity, keeps happiness, that keeps clients away, that keeps us out of love and flow. So we really need to get in the flow. We need to be in the energetic field of love, and we need to understand the importance of self-love and extending grace to ourselves and to others. And you would be amazed at the impact that that could have in your life and your business. And I recently listened to an episode of Gabby Bernstein's podcast, and I really thought that this was important for this conversation. And that, okay, you're like, you've identified the people that you need to forgive. You're on the path to forgiving them. So how do you know that you've forgiven them? And she had a really great point. Like, when you are able to pray for them and wish them the best, truthfully, that's when you know you have completely set them free and you're not judging them. And it is not easy, and it's so much easier to say than actually do, but continue to work on embodying, not judging others, not judging family members who might not see, this is a popular one, your business as important as you do. Maybe you've had friends who haven't utilized you for your business. That's okay. Let them go. They probably were not an ideal client to have anyway. And so once you can truly feel like you don't have that judgment towards them, that you can truly pray for them and truly just let them go, and with love, with kindness, but not in your space, not in your energy, not in your life, because believe me, you have to keep all the energy you can for yourself because you have so much to do. So you need to preserve that for yourself and your own goals. So that's it. That is my conversation to you about the two practical elements in everything that we do in our business and honestly in life. You know, we're constantly, and then ultimately these two things come together to manifest things in our life and our business. And so what are 3 steps that you can do to be more aware of the practical and the energetic, and also begin to break down that wall of judgment in your life and your business for more growth and for more abundance? Number 1 is to practice self-compassion and just really make sure that you are being kind to yourself. And one of the ways that I think is really powerful to do this is to keep a journal, keep a notes app open, that every time you start talking to yourself negatively, keep a record of it. Make sure you write it down, because there's a reason why you're saying those things to yourself, and it's really important that you see it. And sometimes it's really powerful to even read it out loud, because you go, I wouldn't even say that to somebody else. But you continue. We have tens of thousands of thoughts a day. I've heard anywhere from 70 to 90,000. And I believe 2/3 of those thoughts are the same ones we had before. So if you're speaking negatively to yourself on autopilot, you're saying those things to yourself every day. Thoughts become things. Your beliefs, your thoughts become your beliefs. They become your beliefs about yourself. So you start to rewrite those things that you're saying to yourself, rewrite that story, and it really has a powerful impact. So one of the ways that you can practice self-compassion is to start keeping track of those negative comments you're saying to yourself and rewriting them. So embracing empathy trying to understand where other people come from that you may disagree with, or maybe have not treated you well, or given you a reason to perhaps begin to judge them. Just begin to be curious about why it is that maybe they did what they did. And so that takes away the judgment, having curiosity. And so the third one is to cultivate self-love and to prioritize your well-being, take care of your mental health, celebrate those wins, and really recognize your unique gifts, and just making sure that you take care of you. And I could do several podcast episodes on how to do that, but I think you know what I mean. So hopefully that was helpful. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Good Enough Mompreneur Podcast. I would be so grateful especially if you're enjoying this episode, if you would leave us a review, share it with somebody else that would find it helpful, and connect with me over at mombusinesscoach.com. You can find all of my links over there. Make sure you send some love. It's so nice to hear from listeners because I just record this. I rarely get to interact with other people who listen to the podcast. So I really love that. So be sure you connect with me over at mombusinesscoach.com, and you can find out ways to work with me and join my email list, because I have various things that are coming up, and I always let my email list know first. So thank you so much. It's been great talking to you, and can't wait for the next episode of the Good Enough Mompreneur Podcast.